Hello and welcome to Pod Meets World. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Justin.
And this week we're discussing the episode The Father-Son Game.
Oh man, softball yayness.
This episode originally aired December 17th, 1993. Why they aired this 8 days before Christmas, I do not know.
Give people the joy of playing softball when they actually can't do it with all the snow.
Well, it
Something
depends
like
where you
that.
live, but...
Bleh.
I mean, if you were in Australia, it would be the middle of summer. Anyway, originally viewed by 19 million people.
Ooh.
Number one at the box office this week. Wayne's World 2!
Whoa.
Excellent.
Number one on the Billboard charts. Again by Janet Jackson. Don't ask me anything about this song, I don't know.
Again by Janet Jackson?
Yes.
I don't remember this song, but I recognize the name.
Well, I would... This is another one of those where if you didn't, I would probably smack you.
Maybe.
Anyway, it's a bright Friday morning at the Matthews house. Morgan woke up early to eat all the marshmallow bits from the cereal box. I've been up since 6 a.m. Eric tries to get a later curfew for his date that night with no success, and Corey's just looking forward to the weekend. Alan gets down to the breakfast table, completely excited for the upcoming annual softball game with Eric and Corey. It's apparent by their tone and posture that they don't share their father's enthusiasm for the event. Mr. Feeney's class begin their morning by saying the Pledge of Allegiance, say, for Topanga. When Corey makes a crack about her getting in trouble, Mr. Feeney turns it around and assigns him and Topanga's opponents for today's debate. Pledge versus protest. Topanga defends the right to protest, claiming that you shouldn't do something just because it's tradition. Corey thinks it's not worth protesting something that only takes a few seconds out of the day and makes the higher-ups happy. When Topanga calls him out on not even knowing what the pledge means or what he's saying, Corey blusters and gives a rambling, patriotic speech with background help from Sean until he's saved by the bell.
So, I have a question quickly. When do they usually say the Pledge of Allegiance in class?
At the beginning of class, classes are only 2 minutes long, Justin.
I know! They're only like 2 minutes long. This is kind of bothering me, how short these classes are.
Do you really want to sit through an actual history lecture?
Yes!
Well, then go back to school, you numpty.
Okay.
During lunch, Corey gripes about going to the game when he could be enjoying his precious free time. Sean barely listens as he dumps salt and pudding all over Minka's unattended burger. Unfortunately for Sean, Minkus figures it out and tricks Sean into eating a tainted hamburger. And unfortunately for Corey, when he gets home, he sees his father practicing for the game and feels too guilty to tell him he doesn't want to go. Eric and Corey try to convince their mother to help get them out of it, but she refuses to let them off the hook that easy. She leaves with Morgan on an errand to the bank, giving the two boys precious moments to come up with an excuse. Eric thinks their dad would be okay if only one of them goes, and he volunteers Corey. Both threaten to reveal secrets about each other to their dad if forced to go. When they rush downstairs with excuses in hand, their father cuts them off and says that the game was cancelled because it couldn't generate enough interest. Monday morning comes around, and Topanga tells Corey that the game was in fact not cancelled, and that her father's bookstore beat his father's supermarket. Corey realizes that his dad made up an excuse because he didn't want to play alone. Back home, they tell their mom what happened, and she tells them that she knew. When they plead again for her help, she tells them just to learn a lesson from the whole thing, and that their father will get over it, and so should they. Corey and Eric can't get over it, so they called Leonard Spinelli, Alan's emotionally neurotic assistant manager, to bring over some food from the grocery store. They throw Alan a barbecue to make up for missing the Saturday softball game. Lenny manages to guilt himself an invitation, and though their dad claims he's having fun, Corey and Eric know that a measly barbecue can't make up for the game that Alan wanted, that only comes once a year. The debate wraps up in Corey's class, and he can better argue by thinking about his father. He says that if you care about something like a country or a father, you should show your allegiance, defined as loyalty or devotion, and respect their traditions. Corey and Eric finally managed to make it up to their father by proposing a rematch against the hippie bookstore, and they promised that They'll be there to take back the title. In the end credits tag, the Matthews arrive, happy that they beat the hippie bookstore, though Alan, hobbling on his baseball bat and clearly worn out, is not happy to learn that the bookstore wants to play another game next week for best 2 out of 3. Because he's going to die.
Well, it's not terrible. Though,
He's basically crippled.
Though, with the fact that he did a home run, slide to home base sort of that style, around his age, it's not too surprising he's a little tuckered out.
He was like walking like an 80-year-old, not even 8, like a 90-year-old man.
Yeah, it was
So
just a bit of
basically,
soreness.
he's just a little out of shape.
Get him an ice pack and give him a day or two, and he should be fine.
Okay. Alrighty, so what did you all think of this episode?
It was pretty good, and a couple little interesting moments that popped up to spice up the episode a little bit.
Well, a few little gags here and there are nice, like the salt on the burger. It's like, oof, how's this gonna go?
Just
And it goes exactly how you would expect it.
just with how it kind of starts, it's like he left his burger on the table.
I don't know if this is a flaw, but I have to do something. It's so good.
It's so weird that I'm so happy about this.
It's because you're a psychopath.
Something like that, Sean.
Alrighty. Any other thoughts on this episode?
Not
With the
too much.
base story of it, typical sort of story of kids. Yeah.
Alrighty. So next week we'll be talking about the episode Once in Love with Amy, where the boys think their mother is cheating.
Oh dear.
And it's a good time. It's gonna be a good time. So until then, I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Justin.